thank you to SnakeStone97 for their generous donation on Patreon. If you'd like to join them in their generosity, the link to my Patreon page is in the description. Hello everyone! My name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome back to All of the Above. This week, unfortunately, I am riding a solo ship. I don't know what the fuck that means, necessarily, but I'm here alone. Caleb woke up today with a bad case of laryngitis, or I don't know if that's... I shouldn't say that. He has a sore throat. I don't know if those two are interchangeable or not, if that's the technical term, or if that's something completely fucking different. I don't fucking know, so I shouldn't say it. If you don't know something for sure, you shouldn't speak with authority on that topic. So, I am here by myself this week. It's actually funny. I wouldn't dare revel in joy at someone's misfortune, but it is funny to me that Caleb happens to have a sore throat today, because yesterday I recorded hours of fucking content, including 2 hours plus of Coach Grifter content. And so, my throat is not doing great. Fortunately, I don't have a sore throat. It just hurts a little bit. There's like a little soreness down there. Yesterday, man, it was bad, but that was right in the moment. And I don't dare do that voice right now. I was thinking I might record some today, but honestly, we'll see how this podcast goes. If my throat gets better somehow through use, maybe it warms up. I don't fucking know. We'll see. I don't fucking know. Let me get a quick drink here. There we go. It's a weird sensation. Okay, so I get these big-ass bottles, the Nestle Pure Life fucking bottle with, like, the plastic handle carved into it. Been doing that for a long time. My brother started doing it, and I copied him because that's basically my entire existence. Almost literally, as a matter of fact, seeing how he's my older sibling. But, back in Admire, surprisingly, the tap water there was actually surprisingly clean. It was actually really good. You could drink from the hose there, and it was fine. But here, shit, in the city? Hell, even in Kansas City, I wouldn't dare drink out of the tap unless I had to. Always have the Brita filters, the little canisters or whatever. Up here in the Chicago suburbs, it's not near as bad as it is in the inner city, where I've seen people turn on their faucet and it's fucking brown. Like, Jesus Christ. How is this seen as humane conditions? I don't fucking know. But here, we got a Brita filter on the faucet. So at least that's something. But even with that, I knew that different water has different tastes, and Bri apparently has been dealing with a lot of backlash to saying that. I don't like severe fucking backlash or anything, but like with her family and friends not believing that water has different tastes. But like, yeah, different water has different tastes, man. If you want an example, drink a bottle of Dasani, and then take a sip of Aquafina. It's fucking different. Whether or not one's better for you or whatever. I remember there was a Penn and Teller bullshit about that. Honestly, a lot of their stuff, I just sort of accepted it as truth back in the day, Penn and Teller, and I absolutely love the show, and I still agree with them on a lot of stuff today, but every once in a while I come across an episode where I'm like, nope, I do not agree, and that's the thing, is they're not trying to tell me I'm wrong. They're presenting their argument in a very forceful way, in a very entertaining way, and as a child, I saw that as authority to be followed, which was not the intention. That's why the show is not for fucking kids. But anyway, so what I use up here, because even with the filtered water, there's a taste to it. A taste that I just don't like. So I get the little flavor packets, and they're barely any calories. It's a little bit of sugar, but honestly, I've got some of the healthier stuff. And I bounced around between grape flavor, and right now I'm on the orange flavor, and it's really weird to me. Right after I brush my teeth, when I drink some of this orange flavored water, I get a weird taste in the back of my throat, in the back of my mouth, of eggs, and that can't be good. That cannot. when you taste or smell eggs, where there is not eggs, that's generally a problem. Now, it doesn't taste like egg. It tastes like the essence of egg. None of this is going to make sense, so I don't know why I'm trying to explain it. But the point is, the water up here is an absolute disgrace. Though it is worse elsewhere, I wish everyone's water would get better. Because we have the technology. We're just not doing it. Vis-a-vis, this is basically the fucking motto of America. We could do better, but we're not. But anyway, so I'm here alone today, which means this might be a shorter episode, might be a longer one, because I don't have the actual constructive conversation with Caleb to bounce things off of and to to balance out the content here. He does a good job of not just agreeing with every fucking thing I say, and he always, this man always has something to bring to a perspective that I just don't have. The dude is that this is why me and him as co-hosts together fucking work, because granted, I could do better. I could do a lot better by not just steamrolling episodes, fucking just talking forever. But, you know, that's kind of just something I've always done. I'm a fucking blabbermouth. Not in social situations unless I get to know you enough, in which case, oh boy. In social situations, I'm either saying nothing or I'm being overly friendly to try to mask the fact that I'm scared, because I have social anxiety problems, and I just make it worse for myself by doing this, and I don't know. Maybe therapy will help me one day, I don't fucking know. But, in instances where I feel somewhat comfortable with a person, I can say a quantity and quality of things that is probably not welcome, and that's a problem. That's a problem that I have. But that's one of the reasons why podcasting is kind of alluring to me, is I like the idea of recording my thoughts, and whoever wants to fucking hear it, if they do, they can fucking watch. And I feel like my conversations are better when it's not just, this is how I feel, this is what I think, this is it, that's all, bye. With Caleb, he actually challenges me a bit. He enriches the conversation. He has his own points, and you know, he has a bit of a communicative difficulty. He has a stutter. It's gotten better over the years, but in situations where he feels either on the spot or a little bit uncomfortable, it comes out a little bit more. But the dude still fucking goes. Like, he doesn't hold shit back. And I absolutely wish, at least in this instance, that we'd be able to be in person for these recordings, because the chemistry we have in person, as I found by re-listening to those retro episodes, our chemistry in person is way fucking better than over a Discord chat. Because when you're on a video chat or an audio chat, whatever, that shit is clunky and awkward, and you're constantly trying to not interrupt people, and you get desynced, or there's technical problems, and it just fucking kills the fucking vibe, man. But I don't have anyone up here that could even match the maybe I have a different chemistry with Bri, but like, Bri's got a full-time fucking job, and she always has no fucking energy when she gets home practically, and you know, that's why my job as the homemaker is to make sure she has to do as little as possible when she gets home. That's my job. And so, yeah, I couldn't podcast with her, and I don't want to lose the dynamics I have with Caleb. But I don't know. It's something we got to work out, because I want this show to be good. I want to have fun doing it, and I have fun talking with Caleb. I really do. It just sucks that we have this barrier. And yeah, I know it's a self-imposed barrier. I fucking moved, but I'm not going to put my fucking life on hold for a podcast, and Caleb wouldn't ask me to do that, and I wouldn't expect either one of us to value the podcast over personal fulfillment. But there is one thing about the podcast that did irk me today before we get into the bulk of the news sandwich, the weekly recap section of the podcast episode today. I had a bit of a negative reaction to some shit. And I'm going to speak candidly here, and I want it to be known that I am extremely and eternally grateful to anyone who gave me even a little bit of time to watch my stuff, left a comment, maybe caught up on a series, especially if you donated on Patreon or subscribed or anything like that. I am extremely grateful. Whether or not you gave me a little bit of your time or a fuck ton of your time, I really do appreciate it. However, that gratitude, I feel, should not demand silence out of me. And no one's demanding my silence on it. I want to make that very clear. No one is demanding my silence on this. However, there was a comment that I feel I should highlight, and my dumbass did not fucking pull it up in the interim, so let me get it here. It kind of highlights a lot of what I fear, in a way. I can't really read the tone on this comment. It's from Samuel Fisher. It was on the most recent, as of this recording. I'm recording this on the 22nd. Let me just fucking say it. It's on part 11 of The Smoke Room, where I opened the episode kind of talking about how the reality of the situation where I exacerbated my back injury. I can't get it fixed, so I just kind of go day to day hoping to fuck that it isn't bad. And I got to do as little physical activity as possible to make sure it doesn't get worse. But even some days where I've done everything right, it's still terrible, and I just can't sit in in my fucking chair or even get up for anything other than the absolute essentials. And so I'm stuck in bed, and because I mowed the lawn, that's enough. That was enough. I mowed the lawn, and it fucked my back up for weeks. Oh my god, for weeks. And then I went to the store too early after I thought it was a little bit better, and it got worse again. And so because of this, my backlog of recorded episodes of visual novels ran out. And now at the same time, I was able to crawl out of bed long enough to record a podcast because I wanted to record something, and something I enjoyed, that didn't require physical, like animation, physical animation of the body. And, you know, it might not seem like it, but doing certain voices in certain parts does require a good amount of all body interaction. And I knew with the podcast, if I needed to stop at any point, I wouldn't have to worry about ending it in the middle of a fucking scene or anything like that. And it was me chatting with a friend, and I wanted to do that. But yeah, I ran out of backlogged episodes of the visual novels, and around the same time, I'm recording with Caleb, and he tells me he found a bunch of our old shows from back when we started. In 2014, I was so fucking excited, still am, to be able to listen to all these old shows, and to be able to hear what things were like back then. 2014 was the first year I was dating Bri. It was the very beginning of that relationship. And I was in my first college, and I still lived with my dad, and it was a completely different part of my life to where I am now, and me and Caleb were still doing this fucking show, and we were on the radio, for fuck's sake. So I was really excited to be able to share these with everyone. I say was, now I'm worried. Because, and here's the thing. I know that expecting regularity from a content creator is very, it's normal. I almost said typical, but that has a negative connotation to it. It makes sense to expect certain something from people who make specific somethings. I understand that. It's the slightest bit stifling, but you as a viewer have the right to watch whatever you want, to choose to skip whatever you want. It makes sense. And I wouldn't want to challenge that in any way. All I would ask is that maybe you give something a shot that you wouldn't have before. I don't know how many people I have been surprised to find that I love and hate because YouTube kept shoving their fucking videos down my throat in the recommended section. One of my favorite videos of all time is a video called Wrestling Isn't Wrestling, I believe it's called. And it's made by Max Landis, channel called Up to My Knees. And it kept fucking getting recommended to me. And the thumbnail didn't look that interesting. The title didn't look that interesting. But it kept popping up. And I didn't know what the fuck was up with this fucking video. So finally, I was like, fuck it. I'll watch this thing. And it's turned out to be one of my favorite videos ever. Like, seriously. Like, there are certain videos that I will download off of YouTube to have in case the internet goes out, so that I can have shit to watch that I know I will like. That's one of them. You never know on YouTube what stuff is going to get deleted or taken down, or what channels will implode, or who will get suspended. Lord knows there's a bunch of stuff, certainly in the past year, that just disappeared because YouTube decided they didn't like it anymore. So there are certain things that are just like, I don't want to never be able to not watch this. And that's one of them. I absolutely love that video. Now, that being said, that video isn't a podcast. And I've been surprised with podcasts in the past too. Probably my most watched podcast is Jim Cornette's podcasts. And if you don't know wrestling, you won't know who Jim Cornette is. You don't have to worry about it. He's someone in the wrestling industry, and if you don't give a shit about wrestling, you don't need to give a shit, because pretty much all he talks about is wrestling. So you don't have to worry about that. But I was listening to some interviews with him, and I found myself watching more of his stuff, and then I found out he had a podcast. And he had snippets uploaded, separate snippets, and so I'd listen to those, and I found myself really liking them. I'd subscribe to his podcast YouTube channel, and then finally I was like, you know what? I wonder what all this shit is like in order, with the proper context. And so I started listening to his hours-long podcasts, and I wound up loving it. Hell, when we were moving up here, I couldn't watch videos while driving a van. I had downloaded podcasts. Yeah, I listened to music for a while, and I recorded a lot of stuff myself, but I listened to podcasts for like that entire second half of the drive. And I listened to the Jim Cornette Experience, I listened to the Steve Austin Show, Talk is Jericho, a lot of wrestling podcasts now that I think about it. But the point is, when you give something a chance, it might be good, it might not. It might suit your fancy, it might not. And if you listen to all of the above, be it these episodes that come out every week, as long as we can do it, or if it's the retros, which are in limited supply, so they will be stopping eventually, and I plan on only really doing those when I don't have anything else to edit, or if I just need a fucking break from editing the visual novels, because I've been doing this shit for 3.5 years, man. Even though I love the games I play, by and large, it's the same fucking editing process. Ever since I homogenized my audio and my video recording all on OBS, I can't tell you how much I would love to have a fucking editor. And it's very easy editing, but it's the same editing. Different videos, different stories, different voices, different everything, except the process of editing. All I'm doing is cutting out the moments when I fuck up, and maybe adding in an editing gag if I fucking feel like adding in an editing gag. Like, it's... And then, I slap a bumper on the front for the patrons, because, that was one of the ideas that was kind of brought up when I recently asked about Patreon benefits suggestions. And then, slap on the outro, the end slate, which has the song from CV4, which is fucking awesome. The end slate, which has a bunch of the patron names again. I make a thumbnail, and a lot of the thumbnails have a very similar pattern. If you haven't noticed, if there's a CG, I try to use that CG from the episode. If there isn't one, I try to take an interesting pose of the characters, and I put a number for the episode, the logo of the game, and a little doodle representing the channel on there to make sure people know it's me that played it. And then there you go. That's the fucking thumbnail. I do it all in the video editor. I don't have Photoshop, nor would I know how to use it if I had it. And then that's it. That's pretty much it. So yeah, if you do that, and I haven't always done it that way. I don't know when I started using OBS, but for the first bit, I was using like Fraps to record the game audio. And then I would record the webcam separately using the webcam program. And then I'd have to sync that all up. And it was just a fucking nightmare, to be honest with you. But now that I've homogenized it, there's like so little interest I have in editing because it's already something I've watched. I was there when I read this part of the story. And if it's a really interesting part of the story, sometimes I'll just be engrossed in watching it. But I don't enjoy listening to myself. Which is, I don't, pretty common. A lot of people are like, I can't stand to hear my voice back to me. And that's something I need to get used to be a voice actor. But, and I've gotten better at it over the years. But, fuck. The point is, sometimes I need a break from doing that. And sometimes I don't have any of those to edit because, for whatever reason, I haven't recorded any in time. I do have other shit going on in my life. Not that, no one has, I want to make this clear, no one has insinuated that all I should be doing is these episodes. And I haven't gotten any comments that are like, why aren't you doing that? Like, there have been a couple here or there that have been like, hey, when are you getting back to this game? And those are a little grating. Because I know that they're just asking about something they enjoy. And it means the fucking world to me that they are anticipating an episode of a game that I'm playing. Because if they were just interested in the game, they could fucking play the game themselves. Almost all the games I play on this channel are free and linked in the description of every video I make on them. But they're very interested in the series as I'm playing it. Now, mind you, that doesn't mean they're interested in me. Right? They might just be interested in the voices I do for them, or they don't want to play the game themselves, or they just like listening to it, or for whatever fucking reason. There's a plethora of different reasons. But I do know it is, by and large, the majority is not interested in just me. And the reason I know that is because of the reception this podcast has gotten. I mentioned a comment from Samuel Fisher earlier. So let me pull that up here. His comment reads, I love your, quotes, let's plays, end quotes, and your, quotes, play tests, end quotes. I've seen almost all of them, ... though sorry about not watching the, quotes, podcast, end quote. And it's got 3 votes, and I even hearted it myself. When I first read it, I didn't know what the fuck the playtests were. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? And it turns out, I imagine that that's referring to when I, like, try a new game, and I do, like, a test episode of it to see if I like it. Like, that's what I imagine that is. And I can't suppose the tone that was written in. I can't suppose the intention was there. To take it at face value, it would come across as someone who is very involved on the channel, and they're remorseful that they can't be more involved. I want to assume that. I want to assume that because it's fucking flattering. That someone's like, I'm sorry I don't have more time. I wish I could watch more of your content, which that's flattering. But it's so flattering that it does not ring as possible. Maybe that's just my self-defeatist attitude, but it's hard for me to imagine anyone scrambling to make time in their day to fit more of me in it. Like, that just doesn't sound realistic to me. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm just saying, like, that would have to be explicitly said to me for me to believe it, because that would be too flattering for me to accept because I hate myself. But anyway, that does... The cynical reading of that would be someone saying, I give you so much of my attention because I enjoy what you're doing, and you're complaining that I'm not watching this completely different thing? Sorry. Like, and again, I'm not supposing that that's it either, because, like I said, I can't suppose their tone. But, goddamn, like, it really puts into perspective what I'm complaining about. Because the podcast is not at all like what I do regularly on this channel. Regularly, I'm reading someone else's writing, and I'm showing someone else's art, and all I'm doing is reading words that someone else wrote. I do it in voices that the original creators did not intend, and sometimes openly are against the voices I make. I've had a couple that really like the voices I chose, but by and large, I get the, well, that's not what I had in mind remark. But, and then every once in a while, I pepper in a joke or a bit of observation. And I really read these from the heart. I read these completely cold, and I get really invested. That's one of the reasons why everyone flipped their fucking shit when I started playing Password. Everyone was like, dude, you need to be careful playing this game, because we know you get really into shit, and we're worried you're gonna emotionally hurt yourself. Not physically hurt myself, but they were worried about me, about playing a game, and that's very flattering, but also made me feel slightly infantilized, and I'm not that's just a fine line when you're so open about your mental limitations, is that people care about you, will try to keep that shit in mind, which is what they should do. It's very nice that you're doing that. It just is, it's hard to hear, we're worried that you can't handle this thing that you want to do. It doesn't matter who's saying it or what it's about, it hurts to hear that. But I know it comes from a place of care. But yeah, what I am doing on this channel, for the vast majority, has nothing to do with anything that is like this podcast. Because the parts of my visual novel episodes that are about me, or what I think, very limited. Very limited. Does not happen very much. And because of that, I have created a channel that cultivates more towards observation than the observer. And so when I make a podcast that is all about the observer, and it gets like 1/10 the amount of views, I'm not surprised. Wow, I'm gonna sound like a fucking parent here. I'm not surprised, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. And the thing is, I'm disappointed because I'm proud of what I do with this podcast. I really enjoy the conversations I have with Caleb, and I feel like there is an audience of people that would enjoy what we do. Even partly made up of the audience I already have. But on a channel that is reaching, it has over 7,000 subscribers, my regular videos don't get anywhere near that in terms of views. I'm lucky if a video breaks 1,000 views. That's extremely lucky. The last video to do that was the first episode of Temptations Ballad. The second episode, 500. Like, that is a drop. That is a huge drop. And the first episode of a series always gets the most views anyway, by and large. Unless there's some huge fucking moment that everyone loves later on. My top 10 most viewed videos, now that I deleted those 3 porn videos, porn game videos specifically, was not porn of me. That would be a crime against humanity. But my top 10 most viewed videos on this channel, now that I got rid of those 3 porn game videos, is littered with extracurricular activity episodes. Mostly with Harold. And I believe the first episode is on there. And I believe the first episode of Echo and Repeat are on that list as well. But anyway. It is slightly disappointing because I really believe in what we're doing here. And if people gave it a shot and they said, we don't like this, we think this could be better, I'd be more interested if you were doing stuff like this, then that's something I can work with. I can try to improve it, try to cater it a little more, try to add a little more critique to my intentions, and try to make something that people will enjoy. But if people just don't try it, which is what I'm experiencing, then this thing that I really enjoy and want to share with people is just being ignored. And that, I'm not gonna lie, it hurts. And I know that the very easy thing to say is that I shouldn't make content specifically so that for it to be watched. I should make content because I enjoy it, and whatever happens after that is whatever the fuck happens. And yeah, there's a little part of me that cares a bit too much about what people think about what I do and what I say. And that's something I'm working on and trying to get better at. I've made a huge amount of progress in that regard because I used to only play games because I knew they would get views. That's not true. I would keep in mind what people wanted to watch and prioritize that sometimes more than what I wanted to play. Now, I enjoyed playing what I was playing. I never played anything just for the views. I want to get that very fucking clear. But there were times where I was like, oh, I wish I was playing this other game, but I know people want to watch extracurricular activities. That series was given the fucking harsh treatment by me because for a while I just didn't want to play it anymore. I was like, have I just lost interest? Did the game get worse? It can't have gotten worse. But no, what happened was that I was playing it for the wrong reasons. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the story. It was good. And when I felt like playing it, when I was interested in playing it, it was always a rewarding experience because it's a great fucking game. A fantastic story. But if I was wanting to play something else, I shouldn't play that. I shouldn't play extracurricular activities if I wanted to play Echo or something like that. Because then I'm going to go into it disinterested. And it's not going to be good content because my heart won't be in it. And I'm going to come away with a negative viewpoint of the game. And that, unfortunately, tainted more than my fair share of episodes of that game and other games. And about, I would say, a year ago, I basically did my best to swear off doing that. So now I only play games I want to play when I want to play them. And that has led to me being more satisfied with what I do, but it has also led to an increase of, when are you going to get back to this game? Comments. And in a way, it also has led to me doing things that I enjoy getting ignored. And I believe it has also contributed to the fact that I am getting a fucking fraction of the views I used to get, even though I am being very consistent in my uploads lately. There was a stretch of like multiple months where I didn't miss a single day's worth of uploads. And the only time I faltered was when I got fucking injured, right? And because of that, not because of that, but during that time, the views were so much less than what they used to be. And yeah, there's something to be said about how I used to live stream visual novels. And live streams tend to get more lifetime views, I feel. Not always, but like, I don't know. There was a certain amount of people that enjoyed that more than the pre-recorded stuff. But there are a number of complications with that. Not the least of which is when you're watching those episodes back, those live streams back, there is so much shit that gets in the way of the story. Be it me going on a tangent, talking to the comments, if I get interrupted, if the internet goes out. That makes those episodes really hard to watch back. And so there was a portion of time where I would live stream an episode, and then I would take that live stream and edit it down to make an upload version. But that was not only redundant, but it took so much fucking time. And I don't even know. And it also led to a lot of confusion. Because people would think it would be the next episode. They'd be like, we just watched this. Why are you posting it again? And so I stopped doing it for a while. I was like, why am I doing it when I could just live stream it and then it would be done? But then all those complications would come in, and then when I originally hurt my back, I couldn't do anything like that. And the main thing is I like being able to edit the episodes because there's less of a chance of a watch back being an arduous process. Here recently, Bree started watching certain games like Echo and the Smoke Room. And Kingsguard. Doesn't really apply to Kingsguard or the Smoke Room much, but some of those older streamed episodes of Echo, she found kind of difficult to get through because she was really interested in the story. And this is a very common theme here. She was interested in the story, but she was not interested in all the shit I was saying in between the lines. Now, there would be comments I would make, little jokes here or there that would enhance the experience, and she certainly enjoyed me reading it. You know, whatever voices I would make or something like that. Some dumb thing I would add in there. But when I would start talking about my thoughts on something, or I would start talking to the chat in the live stream, if you're really just interested in the story, that shit is annoying. And you gotta skip past it. And if you're listening in the background or you're just trying to pay attention to the story, it's annoying. It's like if you're reading a book and all of a sudden a fucking advertisement pops up. And you can't, and you gotta fucking, skip past it. And it all looks the same, so you don't know when it fucking gets picked up again. And it happens out of nowhere. Shit's annoying. In addition, a lot of these games have adult-rated content, and you never know when it's popping up. Sometimes games will give a little warning. I know after live streaming Wolfstar Sins in Paradise, Paul Diggs, the dev of that, Hyper Wolfstar, he fucking added in disclaimers with a streamer mode, which was very appreciated. Still is too dangerous to fucking stream because the shit changes from time to time, and the YouTube editor, once you live stream, you can go back and try to cut bits out. that shit is janky as hell. Because sometimes I would do that and the audio would desync. Or bits I didn't intend to cut out would get cut out. And so if you're watching those back again, they'd be all janked and fucked up. So, and if there's an uncensored dick on screen for like a little bit, I could get my whole channel fucking suspended. And everything I've done is gone. And that has led to me archiving practically everything I fucking do now. I've got hard drives, multiple hard drives of all the videos I have done, separated by months, just in case I have to fucking start over again. And that would be terrifying to me. Having to start over again. My God. I mean, maybe I would have a better fucking representation of the people who watch, because in that sense, I would have the people who are really dedicated following to the new thing. They'd go to my Twitter and be like, what the fuck? They go to Patreon and be like, what the fuck? And I would tell them, go to this new channel because my old one's gone. And so all of the people who had subscribed over the years because of, you know, Amorous or those porn games, or just because my channel's fucking old, some of my subscribers were just dead accounts. And every once in a while, YouTube will just purge dead accounts, and I'll lose a fuck ton of subscribers. And it's because those people weren't there, or they weren't watching, or whatever the shit. My channel's old, and that's something that, you know, happens. You know, you'll get a YouTuber that's been around for a long time, and they'll have way more subscribers than they have views. That's why. How does this relate to the podcast? The point I'm getting to is, I understand if you're watching this channel and all you're interested in is the visual novels. I totally understand, and I am very appreciative of the fact that you're choosing to watch along with me instead of just playing the game yourself, because the bar for entry is on the ground with that. It's most, like I said, most of the stuff I play is free. The vast majority is free. So you could just play it yourself. You don't have to watch with me. And because of that, if you choose to watch with me, I really appreciate that. So I understand it. I understand. If I do something that you don't want to watch, you don't owe me anything. I don't think anyone owes me a chance. No one owes this podcast a chance. No one owes me their time. Just because you watch something else doesn't mean you have to watch everything. It would mean a lot to me if you tried. If you tried it. You know, if you like Echo, but you didn't know that The Smoke Room was a prequel, and you just saw, oh, it's a new game. Well, I don't know what it is, so I'm not trying it. Then you're missing out on some story that is very important to the game you like. If you never try it, you don't know. Or hell, if you like Repeat and you won't give Temptation's Ballad a try, it's the same fucking guy doing the art, doing the writing. It's the same dude, just different story. If you like that one, you'll probably like this one. And so it would stand to reason. If you are watching my visual novel episodes instead of playing the game yourself, granted, you might not have a device capable of it, or you don't want to go through actually playing it, you just watch in the background, or whatever the fuck. But regardless of those, or like instances like those, if you're watching these visual novel episodes because you like my input on them, then why won't you try the podcast, where it is entirely my input on things? You know, and Caleb. I don't want to sound like that just because I'm recording by myself today. You know, whatever. I'm referring specifically to the people on this channel because, yeah, this podcast is on a channel where it goes against type in terms of programming. But if you just gave it a shot, maybe you'd like it. Maybe you won't. That's fair. But on a channel with 7,000 subscribers, where my visual novel episodes regularly get multiples of hundreds of views on a regular basis. Some of those podcast episodes don't even break 50 views. 50. That means 50 people clicked on it, and almost none of them left a comment. Almost none. Some of them leave dislikes. And every episode has less and less views. So fewer and fewer people are giving it a shot. And when you're proud of something you're doing and you feel like people would enjoy it and you're wanting to share it with people you feel would enjoy it and they won't, you can understand why all you want, and I do. It still fucking hurts. So I'm not walking back what I said. I do think I could have phrased it in a less passive-aggressive tone. And again, I'm not presuming the tone that Samuel Fisher left that comment or what tone those 3 people that agreed with him thought it was, or any of the people that chose to just not address that at the beginning of the episode and just skipped on past it. As I look at the analytics on my episodes, most people, there's a sizable amount of people that just don't watch the first bit. They just skip forward until the actual game starts. And there will be people who leave comments like, game starts at this time code. They're doing their absolute level best to remove me from the content I'm fucking making. So, if that's what you want to do, then that's your right. But I'm not going to fucking hold back when I say that shit fucking hurts. But I am still fucking grateful that you're here at all. I mean, you have to be. If you're hearing this, then you're giving it a chance. Which is ironic, because the vast majority of people who I would want to hear this are not going to hear it. And the people that are going to hear it are people that don't need to hear it. So if you are here and you're listening to this, leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite book is. I've been looking for some suggestions on books. My favorite book, standalone book, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. But, my favorite book series is probably... I don't know what it's called, but it's like the Heir series, H-E-I-R. Started with the Warrior Heir, and there's like the Sorcerer Heir, the Wizard Heir, all those ones. I need to reread those. I read them growing up, and I really liked them. But, yeah. So let's move on. We've been on this for 50 minutes. Let me get another drink. I've been taking like 10 ibuprofen a day for the past week, and I've been feeling like internal organs are failing, so I'm gonna try to take as few ibuprofen today as possible, and fuck if I can feel it. I can feel it, man. Don't know if you heard that. I hope you did. Fuck. So, let's go into the news sandwich, huh? The weekly recap, where we start on good news, alternate between that and bad news, but we start and end on something good. Obviously, Caleb does not have a news sandwich with him this week. Next week, if he's feeling better, I would hope to fuck, because if a sore throat lasts for over a week, you need to go to a doctor. But, he'll probably have a bigger news sandwich next week. To compound 2 weeks worth of fucking content. Mine is a little shorter, because I'm trying to not focus on the fucking, on the news. I'm trying, man. Because I really do believe, as I've said multiple times, in being aware of what's going on around you, but fuck. makes me feel powerless. Because there's so much shit that's going on that's wrong and fucked up, but I can't do anything about it. And just being informed about it isn't going to change anything. I can change my behavior, but I wasn't doing anything wrong in the first place. Well, that's not fucking true. But I sure as shit wasn't a police officer beating a protester. I wasn't a president encouraging war crimes. I wasn't a federal officer kidnapping innocent protesters in unmarked vehicles. I wasn't doing any of that terrible shit. But just because I know about it doesn't mean I can change it. The best I can do is donate money when I have it, which I barely ever do. Donate time to protest, which I can't do because I'm not physically able. I can donate awareness. I can tweet about it. That I can do. But who the fuck isn't aware at this point? Jesus Christ. Even that one guy who was like a hermit for a year, he came back. He was like, Jesus, this is like a sci-fi horror show. And I don't blame him. Jesus, fuck. I wanted to say something before I switched to topics about editing last week's episode. We tried something different where Caleb recorded his audio, I recorded my audio, and I tried to record the call audio to have some backup in case things went bad. But the call broke down, and my audio fucked up a little bit, and it was just a bit of a nightmare editing that shit. But now it's fine. Because all I'm doing is recording my fucking audio right here. So if it does fuck up, well, I don't have anything to go back on. So let's do the news sandwich. You got 4 good things, 3 bad things. You start with the good, end with the good. Number 1 on the good. The top bun. Or I guess the bottom bun, because you make a sandwich from the bottom up, don't you? The bottom bun. The first good thing. Walmart's in the good news, that's rare. Walmart mandates that you have to wear a mask at all locations. All of them. Whether you're being mandated by local authority or not, if you want to go to the Walmart, you have to wear a mask. Now, keep in mind there is a bad element to this. Not because I think masks are bad in any way. You should wear a mask if you have to go outside. Plain and fucking simple. And I feel like it should be mandated and you should be held criminally liable if you're not doing it. But there have been people murdered over the fact that people didn't want to wear a mask. And the people that are making these mandates at Walmart aren't the people that are going to have to deal with fucking Shooty Magoo who feels like killing the cashier because he doesn't want to wear a piece of cloth over his face for 5 minutes. So, I'm not saying the mandate should change. What I'm saying is get some fucking security in these places and enforce that shit. Because if fucking Hick Joe wants to go in there with his open carry and threatens anyone to fucking says to wear a mask, which happened recently. There was a dude in a Walmart who was pushing an elderly guy who had a mask on, by the way, but the guy pushing him didn't. He pointed a gun at a man who was in the store with his child. Saw a dude hold a gun to her father's face because he told the dude to wear a mask. That should be criminal activity. But to my knowledge, they haven't even... I think they found him. I don't know. All I know is that dude should be behind bars for, like, years. They should have to pay that guy's family money. And that dude should be under surveillance whenever he's left out. Because clearly he cannot be held... He cannot... Clearly he cannot... be trusted to be responsible. That dude needs to burn in hell. But I think it is a good thing that Walmart is stepping up where local governments are failing. Because number 2, our bad thing, is that the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, banned local governments from mandating masks. This absolute dick cheese is putting his citizens at risk because he feels that it's unconstitutional to mandate someone wear a mask for public safety. This murderous lech is trying to score political points on the deaths of innocent people because he feels that he has the authority to tell people to not force people to take other people's health into consideration. To do the bare fuck minimum to keep people from dying. 100,000, I think it was 150, almost 200,000 people in America alone have died from this virus. And now that governors all over the fucking country and the president's encouraging them or forcing them to reopen schools, fucking Disney opened up. They're rolling back protections. They're rolling back mandates against people being in bars. They're not enforcing mask laws. There's sheriffs saying that they won't arrest people because not wearing a mask. These motherfuckers need to be in jail. This is a treacherous crime. These are people that should be held for treason. These are people that should be held for sabotage. These are people that should be in prison for attempted fuck murder. That's what these people should be. Brian Kemp, the Georgia governor. If anyone out there is listening is from Georgia, you better fucking be voting in November. I don't know if he's up for a seat. I don't fucking know. Whenever he's up for re-election, remember that shit. He wants you dead. He wants you dead so that he could get reelected, so he can be in the fucking, in the good graces of our Cheeto racist piece of shit president, quote unquote. Illegitimate warmonger, that guy. That's who he wants to buddy up with all over the fucking gravestones of you and your family. That's who the fuck your governor is. And if any of your other governors or local mayors or anyone is supporting that shit, that is an anti-American treasonous pig who deserves to fucking be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and then some. Fuck those people. Fuck Brian Kemp. And good on Walmart for mandating that shit. And fuck, yeah, if you're a person of faith, I'm not. But if you are a person of faith, pray for the fucking innocent cashiers and stockers and people who work at Walmart. Because there have been people murdered, harassed, beaten for just doing their job and asking people to wear a mask for 20 minutes while they're buying fucking groceries. So let's go back to the good now, huh? Number 2, my back's feeling better. It's a little worse today, like I mentioned earlier. I've been having to take a bunch of ibuprofen because it does hurt a bit, but I was able to take a shower. It might not sound like a lot, but when you can't stand up and you don't have a shower seat or a tub that would even fit a shower seat, standing, pretty fucking important in a shower. And I'm too big for my tub. I can't take a bath. So that, and how the fuck would I get up? I can barely stand up out of bed. All right. But yeah, my back's doing a little bit better. And I'm glad for that. I'm nowhere near going back on my daily walks around the block, but, it is better enough that, I'm not forced to be in bed forever, but I feel like maybe my hours of recording yesterday might have exacerbated it a slight bit. So once I'm done recording this, I'm going to go back and lay down. That's my life. That's what I got to do. Number 2, on our bad things, I seem to be more angry about the bad than I am happy about the good. Say what you will about that. Number 2 on our bad thing, Ill Will Press. As the channel name, lesser known than the character it's most known for, Foamy the Squirrel. If you're on Newgrounds back in the day, or if you happen to come across it on YouTube today, Foamy the Squirrel is a character that I've been watching for a long time. The creators of which I've been watching their content, not only for Foamy, but for other characters, for 2 decades now. And here recently, they had their monetization on their channel revoked because of old content, because of a fucked up algorithm, because of YouTube's fickle and ever-changing mindset on what is and isn't permitted on their platform. And these people behind this, there's two people behind this channel. One of them, this is their job. This is their source of income. So losing this is kind of fucking huge, especially since the other person lost their job due to COVID. So they were fucked. There was an update. They had to delete tons of their old content in order to get their monetization back. And it's only tentative. And mind you, this is decades worth of content. They've been making content either weekly or bi-weekly for over 2 decades. And this is animation. This is anti-PC animation that is linked to so many people's upbringing and is saying important shit that needs to be said and is supporting creators. That content had to be taken away in order for YouTube to be satisfied enough to let them let them live. I understand a private platform has their rules, and if people don't obey by their rules, they have the right to kick them off. But the rules are not set in stone on YouTube. The rules are not adhered to. The rules are not obeyed. The rules are constantly changing, being interpreted by different people. They're constantly being enforced in ways that don't make any sense. Preferential treatment is rampant on this platform. And quite frankly, it's a goddamn shame that Ill Will Press was put through this shit. I'm a big fan of theirs and have been for decades. And they deserve fucking better. They deserve better. I'm glad that everything's getting worked out, but I wish it was better for them. I wish YouTube was better. I wish YouTube would stop fucking over people. I wish they would stop protecting the fucked up people. And I wish they would. They need to start prosecuting. I want to say this properly. They need to stop protecting fucked up creators like the Pauls or the drama fuckers or people who are doing actually just terrible shit. And they need to start protecting people who are just doing their best to create and support themselves without costing anyone any fucking life experiences or doing any actual harm. You got people on your platform that are doing actual active harm, and you're more than happy to support them and let them get your revenue and treat them fine and ignore their atrocities. But people who are just doing their fucking, just following their creative dreams, aren't causing anyone a bit of harm, those are the people you go after. YouTube needs competition, and I mean real competition, not fucking Facebook video. Twitch is different too. Mixer was a mistake. Spotify apparently is going to be trying video podcasts. That's not going to be the same. I don't know how, I don't know where, but YouTube needs some fucking competition because, quite frankly, this platform needs to have their ass kicked a little bit. It needs to. Number 3 on the good things. Actually started as a bad thing, but it got resolved pretty quickly. My tub stopped working. It wouldn't drain at all. We had our landlord come over, and he tried to do one of those like little white plastic things you stick down the drain to pull up hair. It couldn't get down there. There was something fucking hard blocking the drain right below where the actual drain is. So we had someone come over really quickly, like the next day, come over and suck the shit out of it, and now it drains fine. So we were only inconvenienced for a little while. He thought it was hair. Didn't get much hair out of it, apparently, or at least not as much as he was expecting. When I was taking a shower just about an hour ago, I was stepping on my bath mat, and underneath the bath mat, I felt something hard. I was like, what the fuck? So I turned up the bath mat, and I found what looked to be the little plastic shield on those disposable razors. It looked like it had been fucking destroyed a little bit, and it was some gunk on it. I'm like, this probably is what helped contribute to the fucking drain not working as good. So I'm glad that my tub is working better. I'm glad that my landlord responded really quickly. I called him one day. He came over the next day, and he had someone come over and fix it the day after that. Really fucking fast. So, good on ya, Mr. Lord. First name Land. My last bad thing. The Supreme Court allowed Florida to prevent convicts from voting until they pay all their fees. Even if they've been released from jail or prison, if they haven't paid their fees, they can't vote. Voter suppression. Allowed by the Supreme Court because they haven't paid up enough money. So if you're poor, and mind you, if you've been in prison, you don't have shit. All of your stuff is gone. People go to prison, their house gets up for auction, all their belongings are shipped away, sold to the highest bidder. You better hope to fuck you have family that's willing to take care of your stuff, because otherwise you're fucked. But otherwise, if you don't have family to take care of your stuff, or if they don't know, or if your family is poor and can't take care of your stuff, your right to vote has been suppressed in Florida if you're poor, or if you've done something wrong, you paid your time in prison, but you're too poor to pay the fine. Does that make sense to you? If you are rich and you get slapped with a fine, you pay it practically the same again. You don't even have to, you just pay a little money, the problem goes away. And there are so many celebrities and rich motherfuckers that can just get away with anything they want because they know they can pay the fine. And because the criminal justice system in this country favors the rich, they're likely not to even get jail time. Or if they do, they're likely not going to spend any of it in an actual jail. Maybe they'll just do weekends. Yeah, because that makes sense. But now, if you're poor, and the criminal justice system, it doesn't even matter if you were guilty. If you're poor, you're fucked. You do your time, you get released, you don't pay your fee in enough time, you are not allowed to be represented in our government. Because that's what voting is. Your representation is stripped from you. Representation without, whatever the fuck the phrase was. No taxation without representation. That's a huge credo of our fucking revolution. But you're more than fine to do it to the legalized slave labor system of this country, which, by the way, yeah, that's what it was. The institutional prison system was implemented right after the slaves were freed, because the slaves were never freed. Prison populations are often leased out like property. You know, people as property, that's slavery. To do working for pennies on the dollar. No minimum wage for prisoners. They're kept in inhumane conditions, made to do slave labor. It is legal, according to the Constitution, for prisoners to be treated like slaves. They're considered slaves. And even when you get out of prison now, if you're too poor, which most are, you're still not a full citizen. That is so fucked. It is so absolutely fucked. Fuck the fucking justices that voted on that shit. And fuck the people in Florida that started that shit in the first place. God damn it. I had a legitimate panic attack when I saw that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had to go to the hospital to get an infection treated. She's fine. She turns out fine, but fuck. I was scared. I was like, no, please, not another Trump appointee to the fucking Supreme Court. We've already had two, the pedophile and the other one. I don't even remember what the other one's name is, but he's a fucking conservative whack job. The Rapist and the Other One. That's a good fucking sitcom name. Fuck Kavanaugh. I fucking hope he gets COVID. I shouldn't say that. But it's true. He should be in prison. He should not be in the job he's in. Yeah, fuck him. Fuck Kavanaugh. Anyway. The last good thing is not a political thing. It's not a social issue. I try new stuff every week because I like trying new things. I have been criticized in the past by people around me for watching the same shit over and over again. And it turns out that is a actual phenomenon of people with anxiety tend to watch stuff they've seen over and over again because there's a decreased chance of surprise or expectation or anything like that. It feels safer because you know what to expect. And I have a lot of anxiety problems, so that makes total sense. But I am trying new stuff every week. I am trying. I was going to watch a new episode of My Hero Academia because it's my favorite fucking show, but I'm at a particularly cringy fucking part. Intentionally cringy. And I just can't get past it. Every time I'm like, I should watch it, I'm like, I don't want to see the cringe. But the thing that I tried new today actually has resulted in me being a little scarred. It's a YouTube channel called Biographics. Now, I don't know what the fuck this guy's story is, but Simon Whistler, he's the host of Biographics and of the channel called Geographics and the channel Top Tens Net and the channel Today I Found Out and he has a podcast and he's done other stuff too. He's just like a host for a million things, and it's crazy. He's really good at it. But fuck. Like, the dude's everywhere. And I found another channel that he does. It's called Biographics. It's history, one life at a time. It goes over the life story of various people. And, of course, the first bunch of people I started learning about were serial killers. And I learned a lot of interesting stuff about various people. There was, Manson, the Golden State Killer, I was watching Jim Jones. I actually got interrupted in the middle of that one. John Wayne Gacy. There was just a bunch. There's a fucking bunch. Jack the Ripper. Like, there was a lot of different fucking... the Zodiac Killer, that was in there too. There was a lot of different fucking ones that I watched. The one that fucked with me the most was probably the Golden State Killer, because the Golden State Killer, we did find, by the way, very interesting, and I wanted to correct, in another episode, I think it was the most recent one, Caleb did say that Manson was still in prison. The dude died 3 years ago, so he's not still in prison. But, the Golden State Killer, he was a dude who did some really fucked up stuff. You don't get called the Golden State Killer without doing some fucked up stuff. But he didn't target anyone in particular. He was a former cop, so he knew how to get away with shit without getting found. He would leave false clues, and he was doing it because he was mentally fucked and was not in any way helped. Because you can be mentally impaired, but you're not automatically a serial killer. What I found with a lot of these people is there was abuse and neglect in their childhood, matched with social stigma of the time, and they got so abused that they were broken. That's what creates a serial killer. It isn't just being mentally impaired. A number of them were LGBTQ. I don't want to use that phrase in relation to serial killers because people just assume one is the other. There's still a stigma about gay people that some people think that you can't have a gay scout leader in the Boy Scouts because that means you're going to have a pedophile. Like that is statistically false and terrible to say. But there, John Wayne Gacy, for specifically, he was, he referred to himself as bisexual at one point. So he was a claimed bisexual, and he enjoyed wearing women's clothing, but he was abused to fuck about it, right? He was named John Wayne Gacy, because his father, John Gacy Sr., he wasn't named John Wayne Sr., he was John Gacy, different middle name. He wanted a son that was the manliest man of ever. He wanted to have a sports star as a son, and when he got someone who was more interested in cooking and cleaning, he abused the shit out of him. He said he would rather have a dead son than a sissy son. He would verbally abuse him, physically abuse him, and that destroyed John Wayne Gacy. And then he destroyed multiple people, dressing up as a clown or raping people and killing them and burying them in his basement. Like, terrible shit. But a lot of these people that I was watching about on the channel Biographics, which I recommend, they do more than just serial killers on this channel. But those are all the ones I've watched so far. They all have something about a neglectful or abusive childhood mixed with the stigma of the time, resulting in them being just broken. And that's how you create a terrible person. That's all it is. And it was weird because a lot of the same stuff that they went through growing up are similar things that me and Bri went through growing up. And it was funny, one of Bri's friends' dads, upon hearing a lot of the shit that Bri went through, made a comment that she was one bad day, like one more bad thing away from becoming a Batman villain. And it really is fucking true. Like, a lot of the shit that me and Bri went through, we didn't grow up together, mind you. We met when we were 19 or some shit. If we had just either had a different batch of chemicals in our brain at the time, if we were less prepared to deal with what we went with, or if were put through anything worse, even just slightly, we could have been the next fucking Golden State Killers. Like, it's fucking crazy, and that's why we need to take care of people that are vulnerable. And it's also a great argument for, like, parental observation. Like, I've heard the idea floated about of, like, you have to have a license to have a kid, and I'm not too crazy about that idea. I feel like there needs to be a different solution to that. But yeah, abusive parents lead to fucked up future people. Not all of them will be serial killers, but that's where you get bigots. That's where you get racists. That's where you get people who think these fucked up things. They learn it from their parents or some other abusive childhood. That's where it comes from. Nobody's born racist. Nobody's born this wanting to do this shit. So the reason the Golden State Killer fucked me up is because not only were the things he did so fucking gruesome and terrible, not only did he get away with it so long, we only found him through a fucking ancestry genealogy site. I don't know, genealogy, fucking, it was like a 23andMe thing. I don't remember if it's that one or not, but they found him because of that. The fact is, he didn't choose his targets because of a personal thing. That's the thing. Like, it's the reason why the death penalty doesn't fucking work as a suppressant, because murder is typically done with either, there's like 3 causes. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but the thing is about murder is either people are going to do it because they were provoked, and those people are not going to be listening to reason. People who have no moral code, they're not going to be suppressed by punishment, the threat of punishment, or a personal situation between them and someone they know. Most murders happen between people. And in that instance, outside circumstances don't fucking matter at that point. So the death penalty does not work as a fucking suppressant. It just doesn't. But the fucking Golden State Killer, he just chose whoever. Like, he just would go in and he would find people's driver's licenses so he could refer to them by name. And he would leave fucked up clues so he couldn't get found. And they never found him based off of anything he did. They found him because of a fucking ancestry website. Like, that's so fucking crazy to me. And he's still awaiting prosecution, to my knowledge. I don't remember. I haven't looked into it. But point is, fuck. Like, just the thought of it doesn't matter who you are. someone could just choose you out of random. Lock your fucking doors and windows, folks. That's why another reason why I'm glad we have a dog, because this dude will bark at fucking anything. And yeah, it might be annoying, but if someone tried to break in, he would go ballistic. So that's nice. We wouldn't be woken up by someone flashing a flashlight in our face saying, obey my orders or else I'm going to kill your wife. Like, that's not going to fucking happen. But because I have paranoia, I suffer from paranoid schizophrenia, it happens a lot at night where I'll wind up staying up really late just looking at the door to my bedroom, listening for the slightest noise, because I'm terrified that someone is either in the house or trying to get in the house, and I can't go to sleep or wear headphones or wear headphones all the way. Usually I have headphone on one ear and the other ear open. And we sleep with the door open because we don't have central cooling. So we have a wall unit in the living room for air conditioning, and we have this like portable air conditioning unit with a hose that pumps out hot air and it exudes cold air. And so we have the hot air hose pointed outside the door, but so the cold air will stay in the bedroom. It's not a perfect system, but it's the best we have. It's supposed to go in a window, but the bedroom window is blocked by the bed because we have a small bedroom. So we sleep with the door open, and I've never been able to do that in my life without being scared about it. But we have to now, at least until it cools down again, and we can stop using the wall unit or the portable unit. So, yeah, point is, the thought of indiscriminate torture and murder is terrifying to me. Not the most controversial statement, but yeah. So the recommendation here is the channel Biographics. Like I said, they do more than just serial killer biographies. I'm really interested in the one they did on Andre the Giant. I want to look into that. But anyway, that's it. My back is really starting to spasm. I got to get the fuck out of this chair. Thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of All the Above. Hopefully next week Caleb will be here with me. And if you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment down below letting me know, in addition to your favorite book, what is your favorite movie based on a book? Yeah, there you go. So let me know that in the comments down below. Thank you all very much for watching, those of you who did. It really, really means a lot to me that you gave this a chance. And I hope you join me again next week. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I have been the trained unprofessional speaking for myself, and I won't speak for Caleb since he's not here. Oh, sadness. I say until next time, stay safe, everyone. Bye!